Good morning. My name is Keto Fillon and I work with the IMaR Technology Gateway here in Tralee. For the next 20 minutes or so, I will be talking about IoT, specifically about the challenges and opportunity it brings for manufacturing SMEs, and how IMaR and Enterprise Ireland's funding mechanisms may be able to help with some of the challenges you might be experiencing. So IMaR stands for Intelligent Mechatronics and RFID. We are a research centre based in the Munster Technology University, Kerry campus, and are part of the Enterprise Ireland Technology Gateway network. This is a nationwide resource for industry based in the IoTs, that is, Institute of Technologies and technical universities, which deliver solutions on near-to-market problems for our industrial partners. The aim of IMaR is to engage with industry to create and sustain competitiveness across Ireland in the area of intelligent mechatronics, RFID, and the industrial Internet of Things. Mainly we work in the industrial and agricultural domain, but we aim to provide support and solutions for companies in all domains and of all sizes, from startup to SME to large multinationals. You could think of us as an outsourced R&D lab for your SME. So as I mentioned, we are part of the wider Enterprise Ireland Technology Gateway programme. Enterprise Ireland, in partnership with the Institute of Technology, has established a nationwide network of 15 technology gateways which deliver technology solutions for Irish industry close to their market needs, are open access points for industry of all sizes, act as local access points for the wider resources in the Irish research infrastructure, and have a proven track record of delivering for industry. So as you can see in the map, each one of the gateways have their own capabilities. You can see here, and as I mentioned, each one acts as a local access point to the wider resources in the network. So, for example, if a client came to us in Tralee with a problem around plastic manufacturing or testing, we might point them to our colleagues in APT who are based in Athlone. And likewise, if somebody came to Sligo IT, to PEM, looking for an RFID solution for a problem, they would point them to IMaR. So you can find out more about the Technology Gateway by visiting technologygateway.ie. So even though I'm pretty sure you have heard of IoT before, I think we just need good to start and look at what IoT is. So IoT, or the Internet of Things, describes a network of physical objects or things that are embodied with sensors, software, or other technologies for the purpose of connecting and exchanging data with other devices and systems over the internet. So you may think that we have had connected devices for quite a long time. Why is IoT so different? So the important point here is that even though you might have had things like phones or laptops or tablets connected to the internet over time and communicating with each other, the important differentiator is that IoT devices tend to interact with each other and are active without human intervention. So we might have a sensor on a machine and it might be taking in some readings of its own accord. It might be talking to some other system or else an actuator on another machine, and the two of them can be working together in harmony without anybody ever going near it. So over the past 2 decades, IoT has gradually become a ubiquitous term for all connected things. As we can see in the graph here, the reason IoT is so important for industry is that we can see over here the explosion in connected devices over the last 2 decades. So 20 years ago, we would have been at around 0.5 billion connected things. And today we're up at around 50 billion. So you can see that we're getting to a stage where everything is the potential to be connected. and we have huge potential in communicating between these devices. So what is IIoT? This mightn't be as familiar, this term, but it stands for the Industrial Internet of Things. It is also referred to, you might hear it referred to as Industry 4.0 or smart manufacturing. In fact, its terms Industry 4.0, IIoT, are often used interchangeably and represent a new stage in the organization and control of the industrial value chain and processes. IIoT is paving the way for complete transformation of the routine business processes from ordering, delivery, maintenance, production, etc. For example, a warehouse sensor may allow companies to monitor stock intelligently so that parts and supplies are ordered when they're necessary and arrive just in time. Sensors along your delivery chain or process may make it possible to track shipments from the moment that they leave the factory floor to the moment that they arrive with the customer. Sensors embedded in the production line may lead to early detection of potential breakdowns by relying on predictive maintenance to fix problems before they occur. Companies can thus avoid costly downtimes and breaks in production. All of these applications improve efficiency, minimize unnecessary expenses, and maximize quality. The goal is to enable autonomous decision making and processes, to monitor assets and processes in real time and enable real time connected value creation from these networks. The important thing here to note is that industrial IoT is not IoT. They are very different things. So when we look at this graph on the side, we see what we would traditionally know as consumer IoT. That could be things like smart doorbells, smart bulbs, phones, wearables, your TV, maybe your smart fridge or washing machine, and home sensor systems. All of these have seen a huge explosion in growth to the point where everything these days seem to be connected, but they have their fundamental challenges. So they're usually not as robust, security conscious, or even have the proven legacy of devices in smart devices in an industrial context. So what we can see on the left is where the industrial Internet of Things comes in. So we see things like smart city, smart factory, smart grids, autonomous cars, and even medical systems. So the difference is they have to be very reliable. So in the case where we can look at consumer Internet of Things, that there's huge case studies for, or just examples of bad technology from recent ones where people couldn't turn off their lights because of an AWS data center going down, or people not able to use their fridge because Google Calendars isn't malfunctioning. This would not be accepted at all in the industrial context. So also what's important to note is that even though IoT has been a revolution over the last say decade or two, in the industrial context, there is a longer history of connected devices, sensors, and so on. So where we would look at IoT being a revolution, industrial Internet of Things is more of an evolution. So when we look at IoT or Industry 4.0, it's not all about the smart things. It's also about new business models, new organizational structures, and new ways of collaborating. It is about innovation and technological possibilities, and is also related to new skills, further training of the existing workforce, and upskilling. Many SMEs face the hurdle of possessing neither the human nor financial resources to systematically investigate the challenges and opportunities that introducing IoT or concepts around Industry 4.0 may bring to their business. But above all, applying these technologies can be a gradual process, and some solutions do not need to be expensive. So we can see here some of the challenges and opportunities that we may have outlined as part of enabling industrial IoT concepts for our in our industry. So some of the challenges could be, as I mentioned before, the lack of skilled workforce, existing workforce. Security is a huge challenge in industrial context. The different standards and interoperability, particularly with closed standards of especially legacy systems in the industrial contexts. The lack of business supports locally, the project complexity can often be too complex for SMEs. Handling change management and dealing with existing culture can be quite challenging. On the pro side, the opportunities that can be delivered would be increased productivity, increased reliability and consistency, greater competitiveness, business growth, increased efficiency, reduced waste, being able to deliver real-time insights on the factory floor, and deliver innovation and enable digital transformation in the business. So what we're going to do just now is to look at 2 case studies which involved IoT in industrial setting that IMaR worked on. So the first case study we're going to look at was in industrial and pharma in a pharma industry, and this was worked on as part of Enterprise Ireland, or funded under an Enterprise Ireland Innovation Partnership. So this was dealing with advanced hazardous waste track and trace using Internet of Things technologies. So for this, an RFID-based hazardous pharmaceutical waste tracking system was developed with a database for storage facility to allow waste traceability from point of creation on the production line to point of removal from the site in order to satisfy FDA requirements. So the hardware was both fixed and handheld wireless track and trace solution was developed that allowed the waste to be tracked throughout the factory floor and provide an audit of it. So middleware, backend APIs were all developed along with databases. So the solution was deployed and is currently in place in the pharmaceutical setting. As with a lot of IoT projects, one of the first steps is developing the infrastructure to allow this data to be captured. But what it enables is building, once the data is captured, it enables data analytics, and that's something that we're looking at the moment. So the next case study is a smaller project that I look at, and it kind of shows how very simple projects and short and projects that don't require huge funding can make a fundamental difference in an industrial setting. So this project was to create an industrial Internet of Things data store and messaging system. This was funded under an innovation voucher, an Enterprise Ireland innovation voucher, which is very small funding, and whereas the previous case study would have involved developers working for a year or so, this was completed in terms of months. So we assisted an ERP provider to access data from existing plants via industrial protocols for reporting purposes. So this was in a food based factory where a number of machines, even though they weren't connected, their PLCs were had the potential to interface via industrial protocols. So this project involved interfacing with the existing plant, developing the software interface and the database backend, deploying a real-time interactive dashboard, and all this was built using open source software. It was very low cost but very high impact. And as mentioned, we were enabling the ERP provider to for the data, to handle the data for reporting purposes. We just developed a part that they couldn't do, which was the industrial part. Once we had the data placed in a database, they can then take up the mantle and work on the part that they were familiar with, and that's getting data out of databases and into reporting systems. So it's a good example of how we can work with clients in order to fill the gaps in their existing knowledge base of their staff. So technology gateways, how can we help? So as mentioned, they work with near to market innovation, so access R&D solutions, develop new products, services, optimize processes for business or industry. So they can support projects across all sizes of companies and an existing track record. So the mechanism for interaction. So as mentioned previously, many SMEs face the hurdle of possessing neither the human nor the financial resources to systematically investigate the potential and risks for introducing IoT, Industry 4.0, or digital transformation into their settings. So Enterprise Ireland and the Gateway networks can help on both of these fronts. Companies can utilise a range of funding mechanisms and supports which are geared to suit all types, sizes of projects. In addition to direct consultancy, Enterprise Ireland supports including innovation vouchers, which range from 5 to 10,000 euro, innovation partnerships, which can be funded up to 250,000, and up to 80% of the funding towards eligible costs of the research project, as well as Enterprise Ireland's innovation funds, can all be accessed through the network. IoT, as I mentioned, is a convergence of a number of technologies, so no single gateway will be able to provide all the expertise required. So to meet these challenges, Enterprise Ireland have developed the Applied IoT Cluster, which harnesses the expertise, skills and equipment of 5 gateways, who together specialise in applying state-of-the-art Internet of Things technologies to new and existing products, processes and services in the area of sensors, communications, network, software, machine learning, artificial intelligence, augmented and virtual reality, as well as data analytics. So these 5 centres are Command, which is based in Athlone IT, who bring to the table expertise in the area of connected media. We in IMaR bring intelligent mechatronics and RFID. Our colleagues in MTU Cork, Nimbus, have expertise in the area of embedded computing and software systems. TSSG, based in Waterford IT, are experts in the area of mobile and telecommunication services, while Wiser and Letterkenny IT bring capabilities in the area of wireless solutions. So in order to engage or to find out more about the Applied IoT Cluster, you can contact Tom Fitzmaurice, whose name and contact details are on this slide. So I would just like to thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm in the chat at the moment, or else my email and IMaR's website and Twitter profile are there. I'm happy to take any contacts, or if you wish to discuss any of your projects, I'm available to help.